What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wildcat MTG. I hope you're all having a great day today, and we have ourselves a little bit of a mail day today. I don't get to do too many mail days. Obviously, I know I'm opening up a fair amount of product on the channel, and I'm probably hanging on to more of that than I should be, the cards that I'm actually opening. But I do occasionally buy some singles, and so this right here, what you see is kind of a culmination of some stuff I've been picking up and purchasing over the span of a couple of months here. And what I really think is going to be fun and interesting today is that today what I've purchased is kind of a representation of a few different things. I purchased some stuff for some decks that I'm putting together, right? A deck specifically that I'm putting together. I purchased a couple of things because I think that they're good speculative buys or long-term holds, some things that I really like, and then there's some things I purchased just because I think that they are cool, some stuff that I intend to add to my collection as a collector. So I often refer to my own personal triangle, right? And if you think about like an equilateral triangle, at one tip you've got the investor, at one tip you've got another, you've got the collector, and then you've got the actual player. And a lot of the decisions you make in Magic are based around one of those three things. Am I purchasing this card for X, for what particular reason? And so today is kind of a cool representation of all three of those things to some degree for me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on in here, and we'll open some of these up. I will also preface this by saying this video by saying, disclaimer is that I have gone through each of these because I purchased them over the course of, weeks/months. It's important to me when I receive the packages to go through them, audit them, making sure that I got the card that I had purchased and paid for, that the condition was as stated, etc. So, there's not going to be any surprises here in the way that I know what cards that I purchased. I did not memorize what packaging goes for what card. Yes, these are all opened. Yes, I've looked at them already to make sure. No, I don't have, memorized what cards are in what package. So if I seem surprised, it's not because I didn't know that I bought the card so much as, oh yes, this is that particular card that I paid for. I remember now. All right, so why don't we start off here? Our first one is going to be, what is this? Oh, cool. So this is a Leyline of the Void. This is a time-shifted card from Time Spiral Remastered. And this one I kind of mentioned, my triangle, if you will, my personal triangle. This is more along the lines of collector, but also a little bit of the player in me. I don't consider it to be an investment. But I had 3 of these particular copies already, so I wanted to pick up a 4th as a playset. And also, as it turns out, I actually will be putting these in a deck. I'm building a modern deck, and as we go through the rest of these, you'll see some other cards that I purchased specifically for that deck as well. But Leyline of the Void, time shifted, just a very good card. The funny part is I mentioned that this is definitely more the collector than it is the player, because I already have copies of this, if I'm being completely blunt. I have a bunch of M20 copies, but because I had 3 of the time shifteds already, I was like, I just want to complete the playset. I think I picked this up for right around, I'm going to say $9. I think that's what I purchased it for. So a pretty good little buy. Not, it hasn't really moved in price. I'm not, sitting on it as like a long-term investment hold or anything, but that is definitely a representation of a card that I intend to use in a deck, but also has a little bit of a bling factor. So more of that player/collector than investor. All right, what do we have up next? Cool. Okay, so these are a couple of I guess you could call them investments. It's reparations. It's a couple of cards from Mirage that are on the reserve list, and if you picked these up, prior to 2020, so pre-pandemic, these cards could be found for as low as $1 a piece. During the pandemic, when people could not leave their houses and people wanted a place to park their money, reserve list and Magic just in general spiked, and these got up as high as around $17. Like much of the reserve list stuff, they've kind of come back down to earth, and I think these are now sitting right around $5. I picked up both of these copies, which are near mint copies. They're both in really good shape. I think I picked them up for about $4.20 a piece. And again, a playable card, a good card, 1996 Mirage, some Magic history in there. And again, it is reserve list. Did I pick these up thinking these are eventually going to be $1,000 cards? No. Did I pick these up thinking these are eventually going to be $100 cards? No, probably not. But could I see these being a card that I picked up for $4 that eventually turned into as time marches on, and these are not going to be printed again, a $20, $25 card, $30 card? Yeah, I could see that. How many years to take to get there? Who knows, right? But a card that I'm certainly at a low entry point for those that are thinking about, wanting to get into Magic and wanting to get into the investment portion, but obviously the price point can be really high. There's some fun stuff out there. And I can easily throw these in a deck and think about playing them in, a commander deck or something along those lines. But as far as a low entry point into some reserve list stuff and a card that has some genuine utility, decent card. What do we have next? Ooh, yeah. Excited to get these. So I picked up a couple. So there's another one roaming around in here somewhere. A couple copies of Borderless Foil Bootlegger's Stash. Remember when this card came out and the borderless foil version was like $60, and then Bootlegger Stash didn't see near the level of play that people thought it would. So I picked up two. I didn't have any of the borderless foil copies. I've opened a bunch of Bootlegger Stashes of various, foil, pack foil, non-foil, even the borderless, but none of the foils. So seeing these cards now settling at around the borderless foils, $20. I think I picked up this one for $21, and there's another one in here that I picked up as well at roughly the same price point. This is definitely like a bling factor for me. This is a card that I will add to my personal collection. In fact, as soon as this video is over, it'll end up going into an inner sleeve and then into a Dragon Shield, and it'll get parked in one of my binders because it's a card that I was really interested in owning at least one copy of. And now that they've settled down into that $20 range for a borderless foil version, I'm very, very pleased about adding that to my personal collection. So I was excited to be able to pick those up. What do we have up next? Okay, cool. Yep. So this is, of all the cards that I purchased, this is a set of cards that I picked up the longest ago. Meaning this is of the first of these bunch. So when the Secret Lair was announced, it had a Mystic Remora reprint in it. It caused the Ice Age versions they were sitting around $10 or $12. They weren't super expensive, but it did cause them to dip a little bit. So I picked up 5 copies of this, and my average price point on these is about $7. And I think I paid $35 for all of these. And so they're all in really good condition. I won't, for the sake of time, I won't pull them out and show out the backs. So they're not reserve list. They were obviously reprinted in a Secret Lair. But as far as a commander card is concerned, super strong commander card. Basically, if your deck is blue, they can fit in there. There's not like, they don't even, they just do their thing. Very strong commander card. Good price point, and then like I said, I kind of bought on the dip because when the Secret Lair was announced, it caused the Ice Age copies to dip down from their $10 to $12 point, and I think I picked these up right around $7 a piece. So was quite pleased to get those, and now have enough copies to whatever future commander decks that I put together, that if it's blue, I could throw it in there. All right, what do we have next? Okay, perfect. I was like, I know I have 2 TCG Directs. This is going to be a bunch of them. So I mentioned that I'm putting together a modern deck. And I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. There is a Twitch streamer and Magic player named Caleb D, someone who I really find to be entertaining, and I think he's a very, very high-level Magic player. And so if any of you guys ever watched his Twitch stream, where he puts a lot of his cuts on YouTube, he put together his own brew of basically modern Rakdos, but it's running Lightning Skelementals, so it's modern Skelementals. I tweeted at him the other day and asked him for a list of that deck that he really likes running, and he was kind enough to reply back with a link to the video of the deck, the version that he liked. So I've been picking up cards to actually put that deck together in paper. I have a lot of the components, but a lot of the components, some of the higher end stuff I was missing. Honestly, the foil, I have to call myself out. The foil Fulminator Mage, I didn't mean to buy. I got it and I was like, oh, I bought one of these? Okay. The foil Fulminator Mage, I didn't mean to buy a foil version. In fact, I bought 2 copies of the non-foil, which is also in here. I didn't even remember adding the foil to my cart, so when I got it, I was like, all right, well, I spent $2 on worse things. So I picked up a foil Fulminator Mage from Double Masters for, I think this is $2. So there's that. I had 3 copies of Lightning Skelemental already, but now I'll have my playset to throw in that deck. And then I didn't have any copies of Black Cleave Cliffs, so I picked up a playset. The Lightning Skelemental, that's like $1.75 or something like that. The Black Cleaves, I believe I picked up for right around $15 a piece, maybe around $14, $15 a piece, so I did pick up a playset of these as well. And Season Pyro, this is kind of a twofer, because this is a card that pre-reprint in Double Masters 2022, the original Modern Horizons card pre-announcement of the reprint got up to like $48 for a non-foil version of Season Pyro. And now you can pick these up. I think my copies I picked up for right around $19 a piece. But since I picked them up, they've dipped even a little bit lower. I think they're around $17 currently. But I'm fine with that, right? For a card that sees a lot of modern play, it's going to get slotted into a deck that I'm putting together right now. And a card that is essentially, less than half the price of what it was prior to the reprint being announced. This is Double Masters 2022 doing its kind of intended purpose, right? It's providing us some quality reprints, providing us some high-end cards, and now offering us the ability to get in at a lower price point. So I picked up a play set. There's 3, and I think in this batch, and then 1 somewhere else in here. But Season Pyros, so these are going to get slotted into that Modern Skelementals deck as well. Looking forward to being actually able to play it. And like I said, just a very good modern card that now I can interchange and pull out and put in other decks, and getting it at a price point of $19 as opposed to pre-reprint $47. That feels pretty good. And then we got a couple of the Fulminator Mages. These are cards for that sideboard for that deck as well. Again, I didn't mean to purchase the foil version, but like I said, I've spent $2 on worse things, so not the end of the world. All right, what do we have up next? Okay, this is that 4th copy of Season Pyro. Again, I didn't own any of them. I just couldn't bring myself. I knew they were a really good card. They've been really good since Modern Horizons came out. The original Modern Horizons came out, but I couldn't bring myself to pay or even trade at a value of $45 to $50 a piece. So very happy to now have a play set and get those all for less than $20 a piece. Feels pretty good. Next up, what is in here? Legitimately. It's not. I did not pay for a Paxong pup. This is wrapped up. So another really good example of a highly playable card, and as much Double Masters 2022 as I have opened, and I have opened up quite a bit. I still can't. It's the set is so large you can't get everything. But this is an example of a card that I think is very very playable. It slots right into a bunch of decks. It is modern playable. And now the price point is a really desirable point. So K commands, I picked up 3 of these, and these will go right into this deck that I'm putting together as well. But as far as just a card that has a lot of playability to it, and is now cheap at a really cheap price point, I think I picked these up for $3 a piece, and now you can get them even lower. I think the current price point on these is for regular, non-borderless or whatever versions. You can pick these up for like $2.50. So a super good modern card, very playable, and now at a third of the price point of what they were previously. I mean, K commands might have even been $10, so you might even be able to save 25% of the original price point. All right, next up, this is investment / meme / I don't know what to call this, but we have Feldegriff. This isn't another Alliances card. This is on the reserve list. It actually is a commander playable card. I've seen people use it as their commander. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here real quick because I want to show it off without so much glare. I think this is a light play copy because there's a little bit of a, right there. I didn't send the card back because I was still ultimately fine with it. But this is more of a long-term hold on to for me. Again, low entry point reserve list. I picked this up for right around $14. And if you can believe it, this card actually at one point peaked at over $50. Now, we're talking peaked at, right during the pandemic when things were at their worst and people were stuck inside their houses and again looking for ways to places to park their money, and the reserve list just went crazy. This thing peaked at over $50, but for the longest time it's actually been holding still at 20 to 25. So now seeing it dip a little bit further, a card that again just as a low entry point reserve list card, being able to pick up one of these for $14 feels pretty good. This will go into my other small time reserve list stuff. A card that I'm happy to hang on to the long term, and if nothing else, I consider it to be kind of a piece of Magic history because Alliances really does speak to me as far as when I really started picking up the game. So very happy to get that. All right, what do we have next? Next up, another TCG Direct. What do we got? This is going to be, I think I know what this is. Yeah, it's our other copy of Bootlegger Stash. It sure is. So yet again, another borderless foil copy of Bootlegger Stash. to me, will it dip further than what I purchased it at? Because I purchased it respectively at like $21 and $22, so $21.50 average or whatever. Is there a possibility it dips even lower? Of course. But as far as a price point, lower risk than a price point that I am comfortable with, a card that I kind of like and I'm comfortable with hanging on to long term, these will both get sleeved up and put in my personal collection afterwards. So really, actually, very thrilled to pick up a couple of copies of these now, the borderless foil versions for $20, $21 a piece. And our last one of the day is this one is embarrassing. And what I mean by that, it's Fury. Well, what's embarrassing about purchasing a Fury? That's a really good card. And if that's what you're thinking to yourself, you're right. It is a really good card. It is worth purchasing. The embarrassing portion of it is that I've sold so many of these, and I didn't realize I'd oversold. Normally, like I sell cards that I'm like, oh, this is excess. Oh, I don't need this. Oh, I'm never going to use it, etc., etc. And so lo and behold, I'm trying to put together a deck for Modern, and I needed some Furies, and I had 2, and I was like, well, I'm at least one short of what, and maybe even 2 short, so I had to go back and repurchase a Fury. I think I purchased this for, I don't know, 24, maybe 24.50. A very obviously good Modern card, sees a ton of play. It will also get slotted into my Modern Skelementals deck. I'm actually really, really happy about putting together. Pretty sure I have all the pieces now, but this one was kind of embarrassing because I was like, oh, I probably sold these for 22 a piece, and now I'm going and buying them back for 24.50 a piece. But whatever, it is what it is. So there it is, a little bit of everything today. And again, I thought this was kind of a cool representation of me and some stuff and where my mind is working. I picked up some stuff that is for decks. I picked up some stuff that is definitely going into decks, but I really just love the entry point right now. Getting K commands at $3, getting Seasoned Pyros at, what I purchased them at $19. Now you can get them even cheaper. I think they can be had for $17. Buying kind of on a dip for Mystic Remoras once the reprint was announced as just a very, very good playable commander card, and buying them at $7 as opposed to $12. Again, kind of buying a card that I really wanted to have in my personal collection. This is definitely more of a bling factor than an investment, and definitely not on the player side. But then we do have a little bit of investment here with if you have some spare change lying around, like look at reserve list. There's still some really good reserve list stuff that you can pick up for $5. And do I think, again, these are eventually $1,000 cards? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But as far as a card that I consider to be like part of Magic's history that isn't going to be reprinted again and has some room to run, and has shown the tendency to do that before, really solid entry point. And then last up is a card that will actually go into a deck, but this was more along the collectible side because I have other versions of the card. I just wanted to complete a playset and keep it all in the same version because that's what we do sometimes as Magic players. So anyways, that is enough for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, do me a favor. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button for me. Drop me a like. Really appreciate it when you do. And of course, by all means, drop me some comments. One of my favorite things about having this channel is getting a chance to interact with people on different levels. So drop me some comments. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day. Be well.